All right, let's try this whole thing over again. Welcome, everybody, to the P2 podcast. This is technically episode 13, but it's version 2 because I'm an idiot. There's no other reason.
13.5.
13 and a half, just because Streamlabs is complicated. It's a tough program to learn, man.
It is.
And
it's a little annoying.
while I feel like I have dominated it, it still likes to throw curveballs my way. Fun fact, in case you guys were trying to get into Streamlabs, there is a way where you can isolate audio signals. So if you want my voice and Mork's voice to be separate channels, you could set that up, but it's a 2-step process. You have to go into the audio mixer and you have to go into the regular settings to make sure you're capturing both of those channels, which
It's actually a 3-step.
wasn't.
It's actually a 3-step process. You have to check to make sure it works. Too,
yeah, but like
before you record an hour long podcast and a video.
Yeah. So for those of you that haven't followed us before, we have been consistently streaming for about a year now, and YouTube's kind of been a struggle for us to get off the ground, just in terms of like putting the amount of time in needed to make a good video and edit a good video together. So we decided, you know what, we're going to take a step back, take one of our streaming days out completely and just focus on YouTube during that day. So we were getting real gassed up this past Thursday, man. We're like, let's go.
Heck yeah.
First content day. We're going to have a productive day. I was getting hyped. Mork was getting hyped. We sit down, we record a podcast, and we record a video. Both of them I thought went incredibly well. Yeah. And then, 11:30 at night, I go to plop it into Premiere, and I only get one audio signal, and it's you. It would have been fine if it was just me, but no, it had to just be you. Oh, you want to talk about blood boiling out of my skin.
So mad. You're like, sorry, I had to mute out for a minute.
And it's funny, we were talking in that podcast. It was like, bro, when I get in like those pouty moments, like give me like 10 or 15 minutes just to like get it out of my system, and then I'll literally be fine. Nah. It has haunted me.
It took you all night.
Yeah, it has haunted me the past 24 hours. And the fact that I'm sitting here right now redoing this podcast.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
Oh, super mad, bro. So if we'll work the audio kinks out later. So if the audio is kind of shite on this one, I apologize, but we will be better. Nice. That's the only way to get better is through trial and error.
For show.
Yeah, we had a really cool podcast yesterday. We had a bunch of things written down on a list to talk about, but we really only ended up talking about one topic, and I kind of want to revisit that topic again so that we can actually like post it. But really, we have been streaming for about almost exactly a year. So we started streaming in January of 2020. Just kind of like dipping our toe in the water. We had like a kind of an idea of running a channel together. We tried it out. We kind of threw together an overlay that was mediocre. We gave it a shot. And and after a while, I was like, okay, let's actually sit down. We had the idea to do the dual POV. I was like, I need a minute.
I actually remember what it was. You called me. And you're like, yo, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I guess we're going to do this.
No, dog. Like that's the same time that I discovered Devin Nash and Gary Vee. So I was just oozing like enthusiasm about this, man. If you haven't checked out Devin Nash or Gary Vee, definitely go check them out if you need some motivation. Great listens for both of them. But yeah, I mean, we started off with just my POV, and we talked about it last podcast a little bit, where it's like, you're really nasty at video games. Like, and I kind of felt a little bit self-conscious because I had taken like 2 or 3 years off of playing video games when I went to college. And I was like, man, no one's going to want to watch this. Like, I'm really bad at these games. Like it took me a minute to get back up on, the grind and everything. Yeah. So I was like,
better. You've gotten better though.
Yeah, I get better with consistency. Like the more I do something, the better I get. I know that's kind of a duh statement, but it really is. Like I learned by just doing things. So yeah, we sat down and I was like, we need to hash out the branding. We need to put together a more comprehensive look. And then we got to get the dual POV. So then we started we actually unveiled the dual POV. I believe it was in March of 2020. Maybe it was even like April. I pulled up that video that we did that was like something never before seen on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I
I
just watched that today too.
Yeah, but I forget the date on it, but it was around this time last year. So really what we want to talk about with this podcast is kind of like our journey thus far, what we've learned, what we like, what we dislike. There's a lot of things to talk about. A lot of stuff has happened, and some of it was good, some of it was bad. But let's just start off with what made you want to start streaming in the first place from your perspective.
So at the time, like COVID just hit. I'm not a very social person per se. So like I'm one, especially at this house, like I don't leave these four walls. So like I'm not one to like go out much. I was 20 at the time, so like none of my friends were like going out to bars or anything like that. I'm not a big partier. So I think I just wanted to start streaming to hopefully like build a community of like people that I have like the same interests with, and just like be able to talk to those kinds of people, you know, because it can be a little bit hard, especially when the whole country's in lockdown or the whole world's in lockdown.
Right.
So I think that was, it's not like a loneliness because like, nah, I ain't lonely. Screw that.
After he just got done saying, I don't really leave my room or talk to people or party, but really no, I'm not lonely, bro. That sounds like denial.
I mean, like, it's just cool to have people all on like one platform to be able to like talk to each other about our nerdiness.
Right.
That's what you would consider it.
Right. And I think it's easy to latch on to a really simple idea where it was like, when I did graduate college, I wanted to get back into playing video games. And so we started playing and started having
I just love playing video games too.
I was going to say, like, we just had a silly goose time and we were like, yo, we should give this, I think we could give this streaming thing a shot. And we chose not to promote it right out of the gate. We literally just wanted to see what it felt like to build a Twitch channel and hit the go live button and play for a couple hours. And that's basically all we did for, I don't know, maybe 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, I would say a good chunk of time.
Right. I went back and looked at our like Twitch tracker, and it was kind of cool to see, like, you could see the spots where we were like just kind of dipping our toe in the water. And then like 2 months went dark where we didn't stream at all. And then it was like, boom, baby, here's the dual POV. Here's our new schedule.
It's
and we
all
just
here.
And we kept with it. I mean, I really expected our schedule to kind of fall through. Because even right at the beginning, maybe the first like 2 months, there was already times where we like missed streams, or we were like, we'll stream on Wednesday instead of Thursday today. And I really thought that it was going to fall through, but we really have done a good job at keeping a consistent schedule, which I think is a big factor in our success thus far.
One of the biggest. Like, I feel like it's just, if you're going to watch like a TV show or something, like you see people saying like, hey, this new show one is going to go live on this day. And then also on weekdays at this time, like it's good to give your audience like a schedule.
Right. I mean, it's like Celeste, or like my fiance and I are watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That drops every single Friday. And that gives us something to like look forward to. It's like, oh, you know what? I forgot. It's Friday. We have a new episode of Winter Soldier out. But
or on the flip side of that is like, it's a Friday. What do we have to do? Well, I guess we're just going to stay in and let's put something on. Like, there you go.
I'm talking like from our audience perspective, though, where it's like, oh, shoot, I forgot it's Tuesday. Let's see what P2G's up to, because I know that they stream at that time. So if you're thinking about starting to stream, I would set your expectations low. We knew from the beginning that we liked the idea of doing 2 days a week to start off with. It's not a whole lot of a commitment, and it gives us time to like still do our other activities as well. I see too many people, like a lot of my friends started streaming in 2020, and they were like, yo, I go live every single day. seriously, every single day you're going live? Like, you're going to commit to going live 7 days a week for however many hours? Like, if you got the time and you really want to do it, more power to you. But I don't know.
That's a hard schedule to keep up with.
I think that even if you set a schedule of 1 day a week, that will at least allow you enough time to like plan out your content and then be like, okay, Tuesday is going to be jam packed. It allows you to not need to stream ridiculous hours. You know, you can kind of put some thought into it and be like, you know what? I kind of want to try something different. Let's do some sort of challenge on stream for Tuesday. Shoot, I just knocked my desk and the camera almost fell over. Nice. He's like, you know, let's plan a stream for Tuesday. And that way your stream is just overall better quality. Like, you really have to think about quality over quantity when it comes to streaming. I hear too many people, dude, say like, dude, I want to start streaming. I want to get on that grind. And I'm like, bud, like, the streaming part isn't the grind.
Isn't just turning it on.
It's not like it. That's the easiest
just
part.
Click go live.
The easiest part is clicking go live and playing video games. Like, that's super easy. And I mean,
and that's the hole that we kind of fell into as well.
Right. I mean, I
felt like there for a minute we were just clicking go live.
Well, yeah, we've hit different ruts where it was like, you feel like there's no good games to play out there. You feel like there's no like real content that you can make. But at the end of the day, you just got to go to YouTube and see what other people are doing. Like, the second that you stop making content is another time where someone else is going to step in and be like, well, I have a video, watch this one. And then you've lost an audience member. So, that would be a big thing that I would say for new streamers is to definitely just set a schedule right out of the gate and do your best to stick with it. And then from there, you really start to learn. Like, for us, we started streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We realized that earlier in the week is usually much better than later in the week.
Yeah.
We almost thought about changing to like Monday and Tuesday, or just because like our Tuesday streams were much better. And then even beyond that, you might even like play around with different times too. We set a schedule of going live at 8:30, and then we eventually were like, okay, Thursday streams are usually pretty slow. Let's try and stream like 5 o'clock or right after I get off work at 5:30. And see how those were. And that was like really well received. It was kind of cool to like stream in a space and get familiar with how that space like works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and back to the time thing. Sorry, I just pulled up my Twitch.
Sorry.
21 people that I follow are streaming right now. And it's like, there's maybe 7 when we start streaming on Tuesdays.
Oh, right.
Like, it's crazy. And especially when we are like, you're talking about messing around with like the time change. So usually we start our stream at 8:30, but we tried that like 5:30 time slot.
Right.
And it like, again, there were less people streaming, but there were still people like logging on to Twitch. So you got to figure out that fine line where you can get some viewers.
Right. So yeah, that's definitely a big thing if you're just starting out. The other big thing that we did is not promoting something until we felt comfortable with what we were doing. So like when we first started off, like I said, I had like an idea for a logo and I kind of finalized it and kind of threw a stream overlay together. But I kept telling Mork, I'm like, let's not promote this yet. Like, we're not ready. We are not ready for people to have eyes on us, even though we're going live. Like, yes, somebody could stumble into our stream, and it did happen every now and again, but we are not ready and not comfortable enough on camera. We don't have the look that we want to go for to kind of show our friends yet. And that's something where it's like, if you are not comfortable to show your friends what you're doing and be proud of it, then you need to go back to the drawing board and see like what you can do to make your stream much better.
Exactly, because like you're not going to be comfortable in front of 20,000 people or
heck no.
60,000 people.
Heck no. And you can
with those people critiquing you.
Exactly. And you that's something that you can tell like right away. It's like, oh, this guy is like a little bit more put together than somebody else. Like I said, a lot of my friends started streaming in 2020. So I was like, I stream too. Maybe I should go in their chat and like support them and watch them for a little bit. Some of them straight up sucked. I mean, it was just like what you would expect somebody to start. We suck too. I mean, that's why I can say that. Like, we were trash when we first started. It's just, you know, that part of the process. But they were posting that they were going live every day. And I'm like, what are you promoting? Like, do you really want to promote this right now? And then on the flip side, there was a couple of my friends where I went in and I was like, damn, this is like very well put together.
Good.
Yeah, you seem like very comfortable with what you're doing. You're talking consistently. Like, nice job. Like, I feel much more inclined to go back to their streams than I do my other friends.
Yeah.
You know? So we really waited for a long time, and you and I kind of went back and forth about this because I was like, Morg, we did. I'm like, we are still building the foundation of a house. We are not ready to have a full hole
for the foundation.
And Mark's ready to have a full ass like neighborhood barbecue. Like, come on over, man. We got steaks grilling up. They're burnt and
the nicest house on the block. Like, come on.
I mean, and so we went back and forth, and I was like, dude, we're not ready yet. And then he's like, well, when will we be ready? And we waited until we had something
thankfully
cool to show.
I've toned that back, and I think both of us are in a pretty good spot of like where P2 is and where we want it to go.
Absolutely.
Like it's nice that like we've sat down and like had those talks.
Right. So that would be my other piece of advice for somebody that really hasn't started yet or is like just now getting into the space. Because I watched a video with Ludwig today, and he said something along the same lines of this, where he's like, that's why raids of small streamers are never effective, where it's like, if, you know, Shroud were to raid us right now, would we be prepared? And I would say yes, because we have something visually cool, visually different. We're comfortable with talking with chat. I feel like we do a very good job of interacting with our chat as much as we can. So like, but most people, if you just raid some random person whose stream just looks very generic, they may not
even have it up.
Exactly.
Like their chat up.
Exactly. They are not ready. And therefore, yeah, you might have one good stream where you get a bunch of gifted subs, just people trying to support you, but you'll go live again the next day to 0 people. Guaranteed. Yeah. Like you need to always be ready for a fluke incident like that to happen. And I guess a good way to ask.
We have one of those too. We had like 34 people watching one day, and we got a bunch of followers, and it was just weird.
Right. And it's been super motivational for when people come in and be like, yo, this is seriously like awesome what this is. Like, this is very unique. The feedback has been incredible. And, you know, it's easy for us to say this now. This is like my problem with big streamers giving advice to small streamers, because it's very easy for us to say you need to have a very well polished product after we have made our very polished product. You get what I'm going here? So I feel like an easy way for you to hash out what you want your channel to be is really like refine an elevator pitch. If somebody were to come up to you and be like, hey, I'm looking for a streamer to invest in, tell me about your channel. What are those 2 sentences that you would say to that person to try and get them to invest in you? This is something that I literally thought about every single day when we first started streaming.
Yeah, like, because we were thinking like TwitchCon is something where like a lot of like sponsors go, and you can land some pretty good deals there, and you only have like that, or like Moisty said, that one sentence to sell someone on your product and on your brand.
Right. So our sentence is, we're trying to do something that no one else on Twitch is doing. We have 2 people running a same channel with both POVs at all times, and we're able to switch between them 2. We're able to like play off of each other at all times. But if your elevator pitch is, oh, I go live and play Warzone with friends.
Yeah.
So does like 50,000 other people at any given time. Like, so
you got to find your own niche within the streaming community.
Right. Yeah. Just like refining that elevator pitch, I think is a good place to start. And just like refine it on what you want it to be and what your kind of quirk is that makes you unique.
Sure.
And maybe it doesn't have to be something super visually flashing. It could just literally be your personality or something that you do. Or like, I don't like when people try and start a group, like try and base it off of the community. For example, the people that follow Dr. Disrespect, it's called the Slick Daddy Club, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a bit corny when you're saying like, come join the P2G army. I literally thought about calling our chat the P3s. Like
the P3s.
I'm not kidding. Like that was something. And I was like, yeah, I think that's a little bit corny, but I have seen some people do it and it does work. So it's like, maybe you just want to build your channel around this idea for a community rather than like something
TP's branding for his audience is amazing.
It's awesome. Yeah. There's so many good, there's so many good streamers out there that do this very well. And as long as you don't push it to be too corny, it's like a really fine line there. But like basically what I'm saying is it doesn't have to just be visually something that's stellar, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've done a pretty good job with what we've done so far.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we have a good idea of like the future as well.
Yeah. So
we got plans for YouTube. We got plans a little bit for stream.
Bro, YouTube is very difficult. That is something that I did not expect. I like I said, there's good and bad. Like I didn't expect us to pick up on being on a live stream as quickly as we did. Like I feel like we're doing very, very well in terms of like if I can go back and watch our stream and be entertained most of the time. I would
never do that. I never thought I would do that. Now I watch it as soon as we get off. I put it on.
I love it. I don't mean to sound like we're tooting our own horn a lot, but like genuinely, I feel like our content is very good in a live stream setting. That is something
like I've had a bunch of my friends also tell me like, hey, you guys are actually kind of entertaining. I was like, appreciate it.
Stuff that you wouldn't even think about. Some people where it's like when we started our podcast, we're like, yo, you guys have really good voices for podcasts. What? Like I've always hated the sound of my voice. I never thought that would be something that people
like. You guys come up with good points. I was like, we talked about this stuff for hours, like years before in a car or something.
Literally, yeah. I mean,
like this is what we did.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, I mean, I went to college for design and video editing was kind of my bread and butter. And man, I did not expect YouTube to be this difficult for us. I mean, it has been a really big pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I mean, I know you get. You also are like very anal about what you want to put out.
I know.
So I'm sure that doesn't help.
I'm trying to be less OCD. It's just very hard. The hard part is just like video encapsulates everything. You have to be a good graphic designer. You have to be a good storyteller. You have to be a good video editor, like a post-production guy. And so I feel like our videos thus far have been good at one of those four things.
And to have a successful video, you need check mark.
Yeah. So like we would have a really cool video idea and then we executed it in terms of recording and editing very poorly. And then I was like, well, man, I mean, I can't settle for one check mark out of 3. That's a 33%. That's an F, you know?
Yeah. So, get some Fs in the chat.
Right. I mean, Fs. It was, very, very difficult. And maybe it'll come easier to some people. I look at some people that are very successful on YouTube and I'm like, man, their videos are very low quality in terms of there's no really like flashy edits that they're doing, but they still find a way to make it work. So I don't want this to like discourage you from trying YouTube out by any means, as much as like you just have to find what works for you. And that's the part that's been difficult for us.
Also, completely kind of off topic. Did you see DisguiseToast posted his first non-Among Us video in 220 something videos?
I saw that he posted something different and I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was a Minecraft. And then I saw like a tweet like showing the stats. It was 220 something consecutive Among Us videos.
But dude,
and then posted a Minecraft one.
When you are balling that hard on one type of video, he was averaging like 1.5 million views per video. And he was uploading every day. That's so
every day, one video a day.
He's wiping his butt with Benjamins right now, bro. I mean, he is sleeping on a bed of dollar bills.
Bro, he is making so much money and people give him so much flack for going to Facebook. He's got some cash.
He always like wipes his tears with $100 bills. He's like, oh my God,
bills,
it's so bad.
Mean tweets video. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that's when he did it. Yeah. But that's wild, man. Just killing it.
I couldn't imagine.
I mean, that just goes to show, like, once you find what works, that was another thing that Ludwig talked about today. Did I send you that video?
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I figured you weren't going to. You never watch videos I send you. Butthole. But yeah, that was one thing he said. It was like, in the beginning, it is quality over quantity. But once you find what works for you and what works for your audience in terms of like it gets good views, he's like, at that point, it's consistency. Like, just recreate that as much as you can, and that will continuously
I feel like you have to
grow.
I feel like you have to find your niche and then basically just exploit it. Keep grinding that.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So
what are you giggling at?
I'm just laughing at you. You're funny, bro.
I bet you don't even know how to spell the word niche.
Niche. Niche. What was the word the other day that I had no idea what it meant?
Apprehensive.
No.
That was hilarious.
Apprehensive?
Yeah, it was apprehensive. Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't apprehensive.
It was apprehensive, bro. I got it on my search history.
No way. I just had a big old brain fart where you're like, you're so apprehensive. And I'm like, what does that one mean?
I don't know what that means. I wish we had that audio snippet, bro.
Bro, oh my God. I'm so mad. And listen, guys, like if you're still watching the podcast, we much appreciate you. The first one that we did of this one was so much better, and we will continue to get better from here. We promise. But yeah, I mean, that first one was really funny. Our content yesterday was just very well done for not planning a whole lot for it.
And for not getting anything out of it.
Yeah. Well, you can.
I mean, like that's the other thing we can talk about. Stuff is gonna happen. Moisty's internet poops out in the middle of us getting a lot of high viewers for us. Videos aren't gonna record right. Like stuff is just gonna happen, and you can't like let that bring you down so much to where you're taking like months off.
What's the worst thing that has happened since we have started streaming?
Like I just said, your internet, bro.
So that's happened.
Your internet.
That's happened
your
to
dog water internet.
I'm trying. Okay, I am poor.
Tomato loser girl.
Tomato
internet loser boy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the fiber in here, bro, but it's just not working. It's
hard to see that we had like 15 viewers at one point. Stream goes down. We're done for the night. And it's like,
yeah.
Those people have like a bad taste in their mouth after that, most likely.
Or a couple other, like, yeah, it really does test you, man. And I truly believe that you learn more through failure than you do success. And sometimes failure is not even your fault. It just happens sometime. There was one night where we had a really good stream, and then my PlayStation network just got hacked by somebody in Saudi Arabia. Got hacked. So I'm literally sitting there panicking because I'm like, we have so many viewers right now and I'm offline. Like I'm currently being hacked right now. They're trying to use my credit card.
It was crazy.
So I'm like on the phone with PlayStation support, and I'm like, and then at the same time, like Mork's stream was kind of bugging out too. So I'm like, we should just.
Yeah, it was before we had like our whole setup.
Oh, was it before we had the dual POV?
It was. Well, no, we had the dual POV. We just like hadn't figured it completely out yet.
So it was still kind of buggy.
I felt like it was a big deal that we had a lot of people even though it was still buggy. Like, what would they be thinking now?
Right. Yeah. And that just goes back to timing your marketing perfectly.
Yeah.
But yes, sometimes stuff is going to happen, and like, you're just going to have to swallow it and understand that, like, this is something I tell Mork all the time, and I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense when I say it, but we're going to say it anyway. Like, at the end of the day, yes, you should treat everything like it's a big deal, because again, you're just preparing yourself for if you do have 1,000 people in your stream and it does crash or something bad happens, at least you're prepared and like, you know how to handle yourself. So you should treat everything like it's a big deal. But at the end of the day, it is not big deal. You have what? Less than 10 people that might see this in your chat?
And that's the biggest hypocritical thing I've ever heard from both of us.
I know, but like it's a slippery slope.
We just struggle with.
I know. It's a slippery slope, and you can't let yourself lean too hard one way or another. But at some point you just have to understand, like, you can't just continuously, like yesterday, like at the end of the day, not very many people are going to watch this video, most likely, correct?
Yeah.
So it really shouldn't have been something that I beat myself up over for 24 hours, just thinking constantly like, dude, this sucks. Like just pounding myself. Like that's not healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's a point where it's like, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like a case by case basis. So
I agree.
But if you had 0 people in chat and you just weren't talking and had that mindset where, oh, this isn't a big deal anyway, then that's an example where that's a bad way to think about things. You know, it's just kind of a perfect balance to try and figure it
also
out.
You're not going to pop off overnight. You're not going to click go live and for your first time and immediately be a full-time streamer. Like 99.999% of people are gonna have to like figure out or do like what we just said, figure out your brand, start promoting when you're ready or when you have stuff to promote, and like you're gonna be on that grind for possibly years.
It does. I mean, yeah, it does take a long time for people to figure out what exactly they want to do before they do it. I would explain it as like people that say they just want to start streaming and do it without making a game plan is basically me coming up to you and being like, Mort, I'm going to open a restaurant. And then you're like, oh, that's cool. What kind of restaurant are you going to open? I'm guessing we're going to sell food.
Food, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I was thinking it's kind of like disc golf. We just picked that up, but it's like the first time you go, you could go with a plastic 175 gram frisbee and just yoink.
Sure.
Then sure, you'll start getting like discs, and then you'll start getting understable, overstable, and then figuring out like how to throw it. Like it's just stuff like that, man. It's crazy.
I feel like you kind of just forced a disc golf analogy because you want to talk about disc golf.
No, I just really want to play disc golf. Bro.
You and me
I haven't
both.
played in like a week and a half.
You and me both. And I'm supposed to go play doubles tomorrow with a random. So this guy's just going to be like, oh, geez, I got this guy.
Who is this?
Yeah, God, man.
This kid sucks.
He's using a driver and throwing it 150 feet. Like, what a turd. I'm so good at disc golf sometimes, and then I'm so bad at disc golf sometimes.
I figured it out. You're only good at disc golf whenever you throw the Zeus because it's a get out of jail free.
Nah, you can't just blame it on the disc. Come on, bro.
No, it's on the disc. Is you always suck except for when you throw the Zeus.
That kind of hurts. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I mean, well, now I feel like I'm at your skill level.
What?
Since I have that disc. Yeah. X.
I don't know about all that, bro. That's
dude,
wild.
It is such a nice disc.
Yeah, it's pretty fancy. No, don't show it. No one cares about disc golf. We're talking about streaming.
It looks like cotton candy.
But yeah, I mean, and that's another thing too. It's like kind of a poor example, but if we were to commit to streaming 7 days a week, what the heck would you talk about that whole time? Genuinely, like what if you're doing that? I mean, you have no time for anything else. Assuming that you work a job or go to school, you're going to talk about your work. Like,
yeah. Do you guys want to hear about my homework?
Right. Like, so like, the fact that we only stream once or twice a week, it's like we have a couple days worth of stuff that we could talk about.
Yeah.
So that's just another reason to like plan out a schedule for that. Shoot, maybe you are that good at talking with people for that amount of time, and more power to you, man. Like,
oh, I thought you were talking about me. I was like,
no, I'm just saying like people in general. There are some people out there that are just built different and built for content. Like, I think Mr. Beast came out of the womb ready to be on camera, like
with genuinely. 1 million subscribers.
I mean, he was just ready. He's like, bro, I'm gonna give away 10,000 pacifiers to this baby if you could crawl from this end of the room to that end of the room. Like 10,000 passes. Like, I see. I'll give you this whole gallon of breast milk.
Jeez. Well, like, come on, dude.
What?
What made you just say? No, okay, it's actually very unhealthy to drink another mother's breast milk.
That's not true. I don't think.
It kind of is.
I don't
gotta
think
get your
so.
You got to get your mother's enzymes.
I don't think that that's correct, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it is either, but sounded.
Didn't
correct.
you go to school to be a nurse for like half of a year?
Yeah, I didn't learn about drinking from titties.
Well, I don't know what you nurses learned in nursing school, bro. I am video editor.
Took anatomy and physiology. I know where they're at.
Oh, okay. Physiology is like how they work or what they do, right? That's what physiology means. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. What?
You think that we sat in class, the professor came out and she pulled the all right, class. Today, we're talking about drinking from other titties.
Who's ready to learn about some boobies? Like,
yeah. Like, I mean, I would have aced that class if that was it, bro.
Oh, my God. All right. This is going down a road that I did not expect.
Slippery slope.
Listen, we do our best. We really do our best to be a family-friendly stream. But I think eventually, if I were to foresee the future, at one point, we would just be like, whatever. Yeah, we're cutting the cord. We're like, no more kids. We're having to. We is adults out here, okay?
Like straight up.
But I don't know. That's
fine. Why am I so thirsty? I've been drinking this whole podcast.
I don't know. Just chugging over there. I don't know. In terms of going family friendly or not, I think it does matter because there have been instances where we try not to swear a whole lot on podcasts. We try and keep conversations relatively clean. And I feel like that pushes us to be entertaining in other ways rather than relying on like crude humor. And I do notice that, I mean, there is some people that would rather watch a cleaner stream rather than.
Yeah, exactly.
So our numbers have kind of fluctuated when we, go one way or the other. There's so many things to think about while you're streaming, man, or just making content in general.
I mean, like the way we thought of it is, what if grandma saw this? Like, what would she think?
Well, yeah. I mean, that was the original, because we were trying out restreaming to begin with. And it was like, if we're going to stream on Facebook, like, can grandma just pop in? And what if we were just talking about booby milk the whole time?
Yeah, like, just drinking from another mom's titties.
I mean, shoot, maybe she would think it's funny too. I don't know, man.
You never know. Like, if your grandma is fine with that, I'd go for it.
I don't know. I don't know if grandma took anatomy and physiology, so maybe she doesn't have a stake in this race.
Dude,
a dog,
try to bring
a horse in this race.
Back. I don't. Oh, that sound. Yeah. Why would it be a stick? Who is racing
steak in this race?
Who is racing a steak?
Not a steak like a cow steak. A steak is in like money. Like I don't have a bet. Yeah, how do you picture just somebody throwing a steak down a track next to horses?
That's what I was thinking. Well, I don't know where your brain goes. That is, it wouldn't surprise me.
Where my brain goes. I don't know where your brain's going, bro.
Bro, I've been hanging around with you too much to where I'm thinking steak racing is a thing.
Oh my God. Guys, I promise you the podcast before this was much better. I promise you. And we will continue to get better. But sheesh.
Right now we're talking about titties and steak racing.
Steak racing, yeah.
Snake racing?
No, I wish I was good at animating, because then I could put animations over this podcast and just have some guy like yeeting a steak. Or just actual steaks like running down track. Anyway. Let's talk about good moments. So what has propelled you to keep doing this? I mean, there's been a couple times where I have thought about where it's like, okay, if we're not continuously moving forward, I don't see the point in me continuing to spend time on this, because I'm a guy that I have a lot of hobbies. There's a lot of things that I like to do. And if I don't see a value in it, then I lose motivation almost instantly. So what has kept you motivated to keep going through a whole year and with no real signs of like slowing down?
So at the beginning, when we first started, it was kind of just like a honeymoon phase. I was like, yo, let's stream. Like, let's go.
Right. You're like, we're going to be famous and make millions of dollars. Let's go.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once we sort of settled down, figured out our schedule, came out with like our overlay and what we do, what P2 is. One thing that is just like really, I didn't even think about like happening was, just it happens like once a month where someone we just don't know hops in and like, yo, this is really cool. And then we gain that follower. I'm like, this is someone we have no clue about. Where was that one guy from?
We always Norway, not Norway.
No,
he was from it started with an I. It wasn't Israel, wasn't Istanbul. It is Lithuania. Sorry.
Yeah. We had that kid from Lithuania come in. And it was very early over there.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to watch you guys. Like, it's entertaining. It is 4:30 a.m. and I'm still going to watch you guys. Like, I thought that like completely blew me away. I'm like, this kid's on the other end of the world.
Right.
And knows us now.
We talked about this a little bit on
those people per month. Like, it gives me a very big confidence boost. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. We talked about this a little bit on the last podcast. Like, you don't understand how much we will absolutely simp over you. If you're somebody that we don't know and you're like, you become a fan.
What's his name?
His name was Frank. So when we first started doing this podcast, it was just breaking down CDL, like Call of Duty League content. And immediately this guy started commenting on all of our videos like, dude, this content's great. And we were like,
oh my God,
Frank, I love you. Like, it is great. Thank you.
Thought about like giving him like a free merch, all of this stuff. Yeah. I still would.
Heck yeah,
Frank. If you're out there and in the comments, better be waiting on some merch.
He's probably still subs. So seriously though, I mean that is a huge motivation, and we only have we only have what 63 subs 66 on YouTube right now, and like 150 followers on Twitch. So realistically, we've probably only gotten like, I don't know, 50 people that we don't know watching our content. But like, yeah, those 50 people is like just the smallest little breadcrumb of what it's like to be a popular streamer.
Exactly.
And we said it on the last podcast too. It was like,
also on the flip side, you're going to get that hate.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But if one of you guys came up to us in public, like while we're shopping at Kroger, getting some mustard or whatever you buy,
some milk,
so buying some 2% at Kroger, and if one of you guys came up to us, I genuinely think I would cry and be like,
oh dude, I would ask for their autograph.
Yeah.
A picture with them.
Hey man, do you mind if I get a photo real quick?
I would be nervous. Like, that's the thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that like it just feels like something that just can't happen.
Right.
But I know like these little like bits and pieces of it, like it can. It's super cool.
No, I mean, I've said this before, but it's like you could have 5 bad things happen to you in a row, and then the second that you get one good thing, you instantly forget about all the bad. So I mean, you have to focus on like why you want to continue doing this. And yeah, I mean, that has been awesome. And even like our friends, like even friend groups, like we've said this before, where it's like it was shockingly easy to build a community of our friends from people that we had already like been following and keeping up with on social media before we started streaming. Like together we only have like 1,400 viewers or followers. So when we started promoting our stream, like people we haven't talked to in a long time drop in and be like,
amen.
Hey, this is cool. Like, how you been? And it's like, that's something that you can, spark chat with, where it's like, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Like, the last time I heard you were doing this. Are you still doing that? And then there's been a couple times where it's like, two people know each other in chat and they're like talking in chat while we're playing games. Like,
I think that's super cool, bro.
Right. Like that's a cool feeling. And I'll even see people like while I'm hanging out with friends and be like, yo, man, I checked out your stream the other day. I'm like, seriously?
Oh,
like,
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Braden and Alex are big, like they're big on social media. They're the popular kids. So they have kids over and someone pull up to me and like, hey, I saw your stream, bro. Like, that's super cool. I'm like, that is really like genuinely, that's very cool.
That makes it super worth it. And it's even the idea of like, I genuinely feel like we haven't even like started yet, technically.
Oh yeah.
Like we've done the live stream thing, but we haven't done anything to like actually
haven't done the YouTube thing.
We haven't done anything to make our channel actually grow outside of people that we know. So, I mean, that's kind of hyping me up. And even if, you know, this video gets 5 views and the next video we gets 10 views, I mean, I'm ready to play the long game because I know that it can pay out. And I think that we have the potential to continuously get better with what we do because we constantly think about it, dude. I mean, how much time have we spent?
I think about.
I was like, yeah, how much time have we spent thinking about different ideas for different things on this channel? So I think it can happen, man. I think other people
can too, and it's scary, but it's exciting.
Yeah, I think other people can too. You just need. I feel like that's something you and I can do is just like start talking with other streamers. You do a better job of it than I do. Where it's just like going into other people's chat and being like, hey, you want to talk about stream at some point? Like that's where I feel like a Discord community would be very cool to just like build it around that. I know it's been done before a billion times, but like make a community of like small streamers that where we can all like go and talk about what we're doing
and collab and
see
that fun stuff.
See what's working for other people and see what's not, and we can steal all their ideas and do them better.
I mean, you also got to think there's 7 billion people in this world. So like not one person's going to have all the viewers, even though it may seem like it.
Right.
But you'll get those people that latch on to like what you do in your brand.
Right.
Which is just fine with me.
I'm pretty sure the number is like up to like 8 million people stream on Twitch every day.
Yeah.
And only 46,000 of them are partners. I'm pretty sure like those numbers are pretty close. So it's like there's just a billion small streamers out there, man. I mean,
oh no. Twitch reports that it enjoys over 15 million daily active users.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking streamers. Like there is 8 million streams that go live every single day. Which is like if we were to average out the amount of people, I think each of us would get like 3 viewers, which is wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to think like some streamers average over 50,000 people per stream. So
it's crazy.
There's just a lot of people out there. And I think that
did you say like if you're pulling 15 concurrent viewers, you're in like the top 1% of Twitch streamers?
If you average 15 streamers, you were in the top
15 viewers.
Yeah, sorry. 15 viewers average. You were in the top 1% of Twitch.
That's
1%. I mean, the bell curve is just like so high, you know, like right out of the gate. So it's like, you know, when we first started, I was getting hyped. Like I was going out there and talking to my fiance and being like, yeah, we had like 6 people in our stream tonight. She's like, and she's super into TikTok. So she's used to seeing like, oh, well, this guy made a TikTok of him making bread and it got 60 billion views. So it's like, you got 6 people watching you? Like, that's kind of sad, babe. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, that's a lot of people.
Crazy.
I literally equate streaming to going out downtown on like a street corner and doing something. If you can get 6 people around you consistently watching you for hours, there's no way, like, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Unless you're doing like something crazy.
Unless, like, Harry Styles went out there.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Streaming is literally standing on the side of the street saying something, just yelling, and seeing how many people you can get.
I play video games.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would literally compare it to that. I mean, it's just, it's kind of funny to talk about. It does make me appreciate the people that come up to me and say, yo, I checked out your stream the other day. You had like 9 people watching. That's like awesome. Yeah. I'm like, huh, an intelligent.
You understand.
You understand. Thank you.
Like a caveman coming out of the cave like, oh, you understand.
Seriously, bro. Yeah, it's pretty wild, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that we could talk about with, our streaming. I don't want to say career. Let's say endeavors. Our streaming endeavors, and I'm sure that we'll talk about a bunch of them, but I do want this podcast to be a little bit more fluid than what we've done in the past. What we've done in the past was very structured. So I like the idea of just us sitting down and pushing ourselves to be good at just talking for a long period of time.
Talking about titty milk.
Yeah. I need to be better at not talking as much.
Yeah, you talk a lot, bro. You love the sound of your voice.
You just need to keep going. I'll let you say your piece. I try really hard not to interrupt you. So
you do a good job.
I'll try. Yeah. If you just keep talking, I'll let you say your piece. But if there's silence, then I will fill it. Yeah. So, but yeah,
right on.
V2 episode 13, not as good as the first one, but we will continue to get better from here. And we appreciate anybody that's sticking with us.
Relevant topics as well.
Right. So if you haven't already, if you look down there, you might see a red subscribe button. If you want to turn that subscribe button gray, that would be a huge help.
I don't see a red subscribe button down there.
Why do you have to do this? I'm
trying
to do an outro. I literally just said I wasn't going to interrupt you, and you just interrupt me like that.
YouTube, I'm Nick Merck, bro.
YouTube. Dang it, we got to redo that.
A little bit of foreshadowing there.
God dang it, dude. I'm so pissed. We have to redo that. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we would really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 100 subs. That way we can get our own domain, because I don't want to be youtube.com/channel/upside down ? E equals MC squared 42069 lol.
Yeah. 6613136322893. Like, right. I don't want people to type that in.
Right. We're trying to get our own YouTube domain, so if you could help us out, that'd be much appreciated. If you're interested in seeing our live stream, we're currently going live every Tuesday, but we will eventually go back to going live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's been a silly goose time, and we're working really hard to make those streams even better quality than what they've been doing. So if you're interested in that, come check us out. But otherwise, we'll see you in the next podcast or in the next YouTube video. Yeah.
Vedo.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys later.
There you go.